Have you ever wondered what really made Michael Jordan the greatest basketball player of all time? Was it his incredible slam dunks, his clutch fadeaways, or the 6 NBA championships he won? Maybe. But there's something even more important. His rivalries. Yes, the people he faced, the opponents who pushed him to his limits, and the battles that tested him more than anyone else. Rivalries in sports aren't just about competition. They make players stronger, smarter, and tougher. And in Michael Jordan's case, they didn't just make him great, they shaped his whole career. So, who were the players that challenged Jordan the most? How did these battles push him to become unstoppable? From the Boston Celtics to the Detroit Pistons, from the New York Knicks to Reggie Miller, we're going to break down the biggest rivalries that defined basketball history. If you love basketball stories like this, make sure to subscribe to G.O.A.T Report and hit that like button so you never miss another deep dive into the legends of the game. Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. One of Michael Jordan's first big rivalries was with Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. Bird was already a superstar when Jordan joined the NBA, and the Celtics were one of the strongest teams in the league. Bird was known for being smart, skilled, and calm under pressure, someone who always seemed to know exactly what to do on the court. When the Chicago Bulls faced Boston in the playoffs, the contrast between the two stars was clear. Bird played with patience and strategy, carefully thinking through every move. Jordan, on the other hand, was full of energy, explosive athleticism, and a relentless drive to win. Bird's team focused on teamwork, while Jordan often carried the Bulls with his scoring and determination. Facing Bird was more than just a challenge. It was a lesson. Bird pushed Jordan to improve his defense, make smarter decisions, and become a stronger leader. These early battles helped Jordan understand the importance of patience, teamwork, and the mental side of basketball. Even though Jordan would later win more championships, the respect between him and Bird remained strong. Their rivalry showed fans how two very different styles could both create greatness. Isiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons. If Larry Bird taught Michael Jordan patience, the Detroit Pistons taught him pain. In the late 1980s, the Pistons earned the nickname the Bad Boys because of their rough, physical style of play. Their goal was simple: stop Jordan no matter what it took. This was the era of the Jordan rules, a strategy designed specifically to limit him. Pistons players would double-team him, push him around, and make every possession a battle. At the center of it was star guard Isiah Thomas. Thomas wasn't just another player. He became a symbol of resistance against Jordan's rise to dominance. Games between the Bulls and Pistons were intense, physical, and often personal. Jordan faced constant fouls, hard defense, and even trash-talking that tested his focus. Each brutal series pushed him to train harder, practice longer, and improve every part of his game during the offseason. Finally, in 1991, Jordan and the Bulls overcame the Pistons, winning the Eastern Conference and reaching their first NBA Finals. The rivalry with Thomas and the Bad Boys left a lasting mark, showing Jordan that mental strength, perseverance, and patience mattered just as much as talent and athleticism. Ewing and the New York Knicks. After battling the Pistons, Michael Jordan faced another tough rival, Ewing and the New York Knicks. The Knicks were known for their grit, toughness, and physical style of play. With Ewing at center, they had a player who could match Jordan's strength, size, and determination, making every game a serious challenge. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Bulls and Knicks met in several intense playoff series. These games were often nail-biters, filled with hard fouls, last-second drama, and non-stop tension. Ewing wasn't just strong, he was smart, disciplined, and constantly made Jordan work harder to find openings and score. Trash-talking and mind games were also part of their battles. Jordan had to think quickly, stay focused, and outsmart Ewing while performing at his absolute best. This rivalry sharpened Jordan's mind as much as his skills, teaching him patience, strategy, and the importance of leadership. The rivalry with Ewing wasn't just about points or stats. It was about willpower, respect, and mental toughness. Fans got to witness games that were not only exciting but also intense and unforgettable, showing how rivalries can push greatness to the next level. Michael Jordan faced a very different kind of rival, Reggie Miller of the Indiana Pacers. Miller wasn't as physically strong or dominant as players like Larry Bird or Isiah Thomas, but he had one thing that made him extremely dangerous: clutch shooting. In the 1990s, Miller became a real challenge for Jordan. He had the ability to score points at the most critical moments, often in the final seconds of playoff games. One famous series showed that even the greatest player in the world could be tested by a sharp shooter who stayed calm under pressure. Miller could change the outcome of a game with a few well-placed shots, and that made him a constant threat to the Bulls. Jordan and Miller had mutual respect for each other. Jordan admired Miller's skill, and Miller understood just how tough it was to compete against a player like Jordan. Their battles weren't about physical strength, they were about timing, precision, and nerves of steel. This rivalry reminded everyone watching that basketball isn't just about power or athleticism. It's also about focus, courage, and the ability to take the big shot when it truly matters. Charles Barkley and other Western Conference stars. Michael Jordan's battles weren't just in the Eastern Conference. He faced some of his toughest opponents in the West, too. Players like Charles Barkley, John Stockton, Karl Malone, and the Phoenix Suns pushed him in new ways and tested every part of his game. Charles Barkley was a true force of nature. Strong, aggressive, and fiercely competitive, he made every matchup intense. Games between Jordan and Barkley were full of energy, drama, and high stakes. Each wanted to prove who was better, and fans couldn't get enough of their showdowns. John Stockton and Karl Malone presented different challenges. Their teams were disciplined, smart, and always looking to find weaknesses. Jordan had to adjust constantly, think faster, and play smarter to stay ahead. Even though these rivalries weren't always personal, they shaped Jordan's career. They forced him to raise his game, sharpen his strategy, and face some of the toughest competition in NBA history. Each battle made him stronger, smarter, and even more unstoppable. The ultimate rival. No talk about Michael Jordan's rivalries is complete without mentioning Magic Johnson. Even though their prime years didn't fully overlap in the NBA, the question of who was better, Jordan or Magic, has become one of the most famous debates in sports history. Magic was a point guard with size, skill, and a magnetic personality. Jordan was a shooting guard with incredible scoring talent and unmatched competitiveness. Fans, analysts, and fellow players have long wondered, if they faced each other at their absolute best, who would come out on top? They finally shared the court during the 1992 Olympics as part of the U.S. Dream Team. Watching Magic and Jordan play together was unforgettable. Their friendly rivalry pushed both men to reach new heights, showing that competition can inspire greatness rather than create bitterness. Even off the court, Magic and Jordan respected each other deeply. Their story is a reminder that rivalries aren't just about winning. They're about inspiring each other to be the best versions of themselves. Why rivalries made Jordan great? Looking back at all of Michael Jordan's rivalries, one thing is very clear: they played a huge role in making him the legend he became. Every opponent, from Larry Bird to Reggie Miller, pushed him in a unique way. Some tested his mental toughness, forcing him to stay focused under pressure. Others challenged his physical abilities, making him push his body to the limit. And some even tested his patience and basketball intelligence, teaching him to think smarter on the court. Jordan has often said that facing these tough competitors was a key part of his drive. They motivated him to train harder, practice longer, and always look for ways to improve. Rivalries didn't just make the games exciting. They made him stronger, sharper, and more complete as a player. Without these challenges, his story, and the history of the NBA, might have been very different. Legacy of Jordan's rivalries. Michael Jordan's rivalries didn't just shape him. They shaped an entire era of basketball. The fierce battles with Larry Bird, Isiah Thomas, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, Charles Barkley, and many others created some of the most unforgettable moments in NBA history. Every game, every series, every clutch shot pushed Jordan to be better and gave fans moments they would never forget. These rivalries also inspired the next generation of stars. Players like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Kevin Durant grew up watching Jordan's battles and learning from them. They saw that greatness isn't just about talent, it's about competition, pressure, and rising to challenges that test every part of you. Jordan's legacy isn't just measured in points, championships, or records. It's about the stories, the struggles, and the drama he faced on the court, the moments that made him, and basketball itself, unforgettable. So what really made Michael Jordan the greatest of all time? Was it just his talent? Or was it the tough rivals who pushed him to his limits? From Larry Bird's smart moves to the Detroit Pistons' fierce physical play, from Patrick Ewing's toughness to Reggie Miller's clutch shots, each opponent taught Jordan something new and helped him become the legend we know today. These rivalries show us something important. Greatness isn't just about natural skill. It's about rising to challenges, learning from every battle, and never backing down no matter who's in your way. Which Jordan rivalry do you think was the toughest? Did he face anyone you feel could have beaten him? If you loved diving into Jordan's greatest battles, make sure to like this video, subscribe to G.O.A.T. Report, and hit the bell so you never miss another story about the legends who changed the game.